Welcome to Knafs at Night, I'm Ben.
I'm Austin.
And today we have more than 50 knives on the table and a bajillion handle materials.
This is Knife Handle Materials Explained.
Let's go! So here's how this works. Every knife has a handle material. We're going to be going through micarta, composites like carbon fiber, G10, titanium, metals, polymers, and the natural materials. We're going to start with, what have we got here, Austin?
One of our favorites of all time. This is micarta, of course. This is the Moondust Lander 2. And micarta it's a composite, as Ben said, so it's resin and usually some sort of linen or
Canvas.
Textile is the word I'm looking for.
Exactly.
So comes in all kinds of different colors and materials and all kinds of fun stuff.
So here's the deal. If you don't want to watch the rest of this video, I'm going to say get micarta.
Yeah.
Start with micarta. You won't be disappointed.
Well, the thing that we love about micarta is that it's micarta, and we love it.
And we love it.
So
it gets first billing in this thing. So this is what's called canvas micarta. So it's usually a little bit more rough. Micarta can come in a lot of different roughnesses. This is a linen micarta. So it's just a different base material. And then they put resin or epoxy and they smash it together. So this one on this Lander 4 sheep's foot has a little bit smoother feeling to it and a little bit smoother look.
Yeah.
But basically when you're talking about micarta, you've either got canvas or linen, take your pick. But you can also look at like the smoothness factor of it. This is the Lander 1 in micarta. Lander 2 has a little bit more rough, unfinished feeling to it. Lander 1 is a little more smooth.
Yeah, and some of that has to do with how they finish it themselves, right? Do they use like a high grit sort of finish on it? What I love about the Moondust one and a lot of the more heavily textured ones is they're going to patina for you a lot over time. They'll change as your hand oils get in there and stuff like that. So they each become your own basically as you use them.
Do you know what's really interesting too? Like this is a very green micarta. This is more of like an olive green-ish. It varies batch by batch.
Yes.
So we have had this happen with the large Lulu, where it trends more toward brown than green. So I think that's one thing that you got to go into micarta with the expectation that it might vary just a little bit. This is the little Lulu with a canvas micarta. In fact, we bought a batch of this that did not match our pictures at all.
Yep.
The raw, so this is a raw sheet of micarta.
Yep.
That batch of raw micarta is sitting in the shop because it wasn't the right color.
Right.
So it tends to vary.
Yeah, and it's sometimes because it's like a partially natural material, right? Depending on what the fibers are made of, you could imagine getting them from natural things like trees and stuff like that, and it's not always going to be perfectly consistent across all the time.
Right,
so.
because it's like your denim. Your denim is going to vary just depending on how they processed it, where it came from, that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Additionally, what kind of micarta do we have here, Austin?
This is one of my favorites, burlap micarta, really cool. So it's got a much more, not a fine weave, like a heavier weave. And yeah, if you can imagine like an old school burlap sack, right?
Like
that's kind of what you're
sack.
looking at. Yep. So one of my favorites just because it's different, number one, but it adds like a cool texture to it, especially in this baby banter.
Sometimes on the burlap, you'll almost have like little strings poking out.
Totally.
I think it's a little bit of a challenging material to work with. In fact, I would say that this is on par a bit with some of our GL Hansen G-Carta. This is Mexican blanket G-Carta.
Yep.
In fact, I went down the rabbit hole on this for just a second, Austin. I love following their Instagram.
Cool.
Little shout out to GL Hansen. So this is Mexican blanket here, but this is one of their trout patterns right here. So we're going to focus in on this low one right here. I think this is their brook trout pattern with copper. So they basically take layers of fabric and they curl some of them up and then they package them together. They stick them inside of these trays, and then right here is a press. And they actually just like press this down. They squeeze all the excess resin out of it. And I think they leave it for, I don't know the exact amount of time, but they leave it for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then it creates this beautiful pattern. And you can see the layers of fabric within it. And then sort of those spots on the fish are other rolls of fabric. And then this is a knife that Tom Crine made out of that particular salmon brook trout material. This was from a guy on Reddit whose username I'm not going to pronounce because Reddit usernames You never know.
You guys are tricky.
You guys are.
But
I love that stuff.
The cool thing about Micarta, especially the way that Jill Hansen does it, is like if you already love the uniqueness from batch to batch, then you're going to get even more of that because not only can the color of the material change, but then the way that they put it together, how long it sets, stuff like that will also make it piece unique, which is really cool.
And sometimes you'll end up with voids in it too. And from some of the guys I've talked to that machine this stuff often, they're like, you know, the voids can be a huge problem on the machines because they'll fling out on those different parts. So it is a material that's a little more hard to work with because you're pressing those pieces of material together. The last type of micarta here is paper micarta.
Yeah.
This is fun. So this is just a paper micarta. This is a brand name Richlight.
Yep.
Richlight is a great example of how they do it. So they basically take pieces of paper.
Yeah, that's cool.
Same method, smash them together.
Yep.
And you get this really interesting material that kind of feels like paper too. This is just a block of it. This one is the Redstone. What do we call that? Richlight.
Yep, Redstone Richlight.
So you can see it processed here. You can see it original. They use this on like high-end yachts.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, for like the flooring and stuff. And then
the paneling, mostly paneling is my understanding.
I think I ordered these samples too, and they had all kinds of pictures of like using them for tabletops in fancy coffee shops and stuff like that. So it's kind of everywhere if you look for it, which is fun.
Let us know in the comments what your favorite type of micarta is, because now we're headed to G10. Maybe the most popular handle. What's more popular?
Yeah, I would say
G10 or micarta.
I think micarta is on the up, but I think G10 probably still holds the top spot.
Has staying power.
It does.
So G10 is very similar to micarta in the sense that it is pieces of fiberglass resined and smashed together. So if you're going to work in this stuff, wear a respirator because it's bad for your lungs.
Gnarly.
But G10 is super hard. One difference between G10 and micarta. G10 can be structural on a knife. In fact, the entire Banter series has G10 as a structural element. If you do that with micarta, it will warp and flex and it will not function well as a knife. So G10 is a much more durable, I don't want to call it non-natural because micarta is not a natural material. It's full of resin, right?
Mostly.
But conceptually, G10 is a much harder material.
Yeah, I think the other interesting thing there is that G10, you know, it like you said, it's very structured. You can't see the layer lines in it like you can micarta, and micarta will soak up any sort of wetness. You know, it'll soak
Oils
up water.
from your hands.
Yep. So G10 doesn't do that. It kind of expels all of that stuff.
Yes. You can also get it layered. So this is a CRKT that has layers in it, a little slip joint there. So again, same sort of thing. You've basically got these various layers, and maybe that's the difference, is you can see on a blue, you can't see the layers at all.
Perfectly uniform.
But you put two colors in there and you start to see those layers right there in the spine of that
And I like
handle.
this one because you can tell how thin those layers have to be. Like those are just little teeny sheets of that fiberglass, which is cool.
And then when you mill it on top, you end up with different colors. The other fun part about this to me with G10 is you can put patterns in it that show up. So on the Sendy, we did a 2-layer, so there's a red underlay, a green on top, and then we put this cedar plank pattern in there. And I love the fact that you can mill stuff into G10. I get a kick out of it because when you're doing that on micarta, it sort of just disappears. It does not show up nearly as well as if you're doing a pattern on a G10. So as a guy that likes to poke at things and push it to its limit, I love that you can do that with G10.
Very cool.
So G10 comes in a lot of different colors. This one is pink. In fact, kind of interesting, when we were working on this particular Baby Banter color, I wanted it like powder pink. And they were like, well, when we make it, the colors start to fade immediately. And I was like, well, how? Why? Fix it. And they did, which is cool. So there was a stability issue with the color because they're basically adding color to that resin to get it to whatever color they want to end up with.
Just some sort of dye, I'm assuming. And as we all know, like anything outside or exposed to light can fade over time. And so that makes sense to me.
Okay, so now let's take the same principles and apply them to a new category of composite. This is carbon fiber.
One of my favorites for sure.
Because you're a car guy.
I am a car guy.
Dude, all car guys love carbon fiber.
Carbon fiber, because you used the word earlier, it's also structural, right?
Yes.
It can be very hard, very rigid, good for having as a body of something. So structural, and then the other huge benefit, it's ultra lightweight.
Super lightweight. This is an ultra premium Benchmade bug out. in carbon fiber.
Yep.
Now, different types of carbon fiber. This is a weave carbon fiber.
Yeah.
This, on this Banter, is a shredded carbon fiber.
Super
so
cool.
I don't actually know how they weave the carbon fiber. I have a friend that is in aerospace parts.
Yeah.
He was telling me about it, and he like went into engineer mode, and my eyes glazed over.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I gotta see this. Like, I'm a visual person.
I definitely cannot imagine, but I have seen people refinish carbon fiber before, and it's the same thing. You just kind of sand it down and you put resin back over the top of it, you know? So that's pretty cool.
But the shredded carbon fiber, I would imagine that you're taking bits and chunks of this stuff and smashing them together, right?
Yeah.
So the other type of carbon fiber is what we're gonna call peel-ply cheapo.
Laminated.
Okay? Laminated. So
Yep.
basically what you've got here is a piece of G10. Now, part of handle materials is the price. So G10 is usually less expensive than carbon fiber. So here you have G10 with a carbon fiber laminate top. They basically are gluing that last layer of carbon fiber on top, and they're calling it carbon fiber. When in reality, it's a veneer.
Sprucing it up a little bit, making it look a little bit more premium, which is fun. And you know, if you really love G10 and its properties and don't mind the extra weight, then this is probably a great option.
Or if you love stars and seatbelt cutters
Seatbelt
with a
cutters.
glass breaker. Yeah,
oh, man, you're prepared today.
I wish, dude. I think I've told this story before, but there was a moment in my life for 9 months. I managed a brand called Swiss Tech on Amazon. They sold first aid kits, blankets, emergency blankets, and this delightful knife.
Beautiful.
One of them had a Punisher skull, and they were definitely not licensing that Punisher skull from whatever large corporation.
What an interesting product lineup.
Dude, it was fun. It was, and when I say fun, I don't mean fun.
Was it better than bath fans?
Same category as bathroom fans, man.
Fair enough.
Our last category of carbon fiber here is when you start blending the two. This is an acrylic blended with carbon fiber, so you can get different colors. This is a camo carbon, and this is a fat carbon, Lander 3 from Blade Binge, and a camo carbon from our friends at Smoky Mountain. This one is a Mars Valley. So it's fun to see what people do with these composites. I get a kick out of it. I think that's why I love the Mexican blanket. I love this stuff. It's just like, it really brings out the features of what you can do with it.
It's one of my favorite updates to handle materials is when they started doing the colorized with the extra material there for the carbon fiber. I think it adds a sweet touch. It still has that coolness of the carbon fiber, but then you get to have your own color choice. So
one problem with this though is it starts to drive your price up.
Yes.
Right? So now you're not just paying for a premium steel, you're paying for a premium handle material. I think this Benchmade here is like a $300 Benchmade. I don't know.
At least I think their base ones are close to $200.
So you're combining an S90V steel, S35 steel here with a handle material that's expensive. Like, when you start adding more expensive handle materials, the entire price of the knife jumps up, which, cool. But I think when you're talking about Micarta or G10, we're going to talk about polymers here in a minute, that's where your prices tend to come down just a little bit. So we're going to tell you a little bit more about that in just a second. First of all, we have to cover a couple other things. Every week we have a newsletter giveaway. So if you are signed up for our newsletter, you can win a pocket knife every single week. You're entered to win. This week's winner was Robert C. of Streetsboro, Ohio. So you can sign up at knafs.com/newsletter to be involved. Next up, guys, we are going to go to Germany, to Solingen, the home of Boker knives, where our friend Lenny is going to take us on a shop tour. What is up, guys, and welcome to Solingen, Germany, where we are going to go tour a little bit of the Boker factory. Let's go. I got to go get this lederhosen off because I am clearly not German. Here we go.
All right, guys, welcome to Boker Solingen. The company was founded in 1869, but the whole Boker family is actually from the neighbor town, from Remscheid. They started producing knives and cutlery way earlier. We have some very important milestones in our history, like the registration of the trademark in 1926 in the United States, so that was and is still one of our biggest markets.
You're in frame, you're in frame.
You're in frame. So I've always been confused about all the different Boker types. Lenny, Tell me, what is Boker Solingen?
Boker Solingen is our premium collection. All knives are manufactured here in this facility in Solingen.
What about Boker Arbolito?
Boker Arbolito are made in our facility in Buenos Aires in Argentina, and they are mostly hunting knives.
What about Boker Plus?
Boker Plus is sourced globally, so we are very innovative in that product branch and working with all kinds of designers and factories all over the world.
This includes the Kalashnikov, of which there are literally millions in the world. And then you got Boker Magnum. What's that?
Yeah, Boker Magnum is our entry line, so price points starting at 20, 25 bucks.
So it's all Boker,
Yeah.
but 4 different like sub-brands from different
Exactly.
places and different reasons.
Exactly.
Now I know.
We have what's called a chaotic warehouse system because the products are basically ranked by how much they sell.
Okay, and I'm seeing a Condor box in there.
Oh yeah, we are not only a producer and supplier, we are also a retail store, and we're also doing wholesale and distribution for other companies.
So the cool thing about this, check this out, you got Spyderco's in here, just a plethora of knives, CRKT. This is a knife nut's dream here at Boker. If you like potatoes, buy this brand.
We largely invested in new machinery, new technologies. That really enables us to manufacture modern knives. So over here, we are in the milling department, where all the parts are produced.
So what are we looking at here?
So this is one of Lucas Burnley's design. It's called the BFF Packlight. The majority of our work right now is fixed blade knives.
People are really interested in fixed blades. What's happening in the knife industry where people are like, I want more fixed blades, fewer folders?
So especially in the German market, it's much easier to carry a fixed blade knife because of the regulations we have. You don't have to worry about a lock failing. A fixed blade knife usually is a more reliable option, in my opinion.
Interesting, and so we're all seeing that trend across the
Yeah.
whole knife industry. Wow, look at all those end mills.
Yeah, kind of specialized.
All perfectly organized, Lenny, as they would be with you in charge.
Yeah, it's a German thing, you know.
Lenny, there's so many knives going through this shop.
Yeah.
It's incredible to see, just like bins and bins and bins. What is this?
That's free water for all the employees.
Prost?
Prost.
Prost. We're not this fancy at Knafs yet, but someday.
Last year, and this has been the most expensive machine purchase we ever made as a company in 155 years.
Really?
Oh yeah.
And it's in your department.
Yeah.
You're a big deal. This is cool. So
Yeah.
even at Chris Reeve Knives, so this is what they're doing. They're loading up an entire tombstone. How many knives per tombstone, Lenny?
On these, 80.
How long does it take to load this tombstone?
Around 45 minutes.
45 minutes. So 4-hour cycle time, 45 minutes, run it again, and you probably run it all night long. That's amazing. Goes in like this, comes out like this. After all that edge milling is done, you can see the amount of material they're taking off there.
So on this machine, we are taking an offcut of a stainless steel tube, and then we are on these 2 Haas DAT1s. We are doing various kinds of materials.
Such a beautiful texture on there. Are you designing the texture, or does that come from the designers?
No, this comes from us.
So you got rich light, and then you've got Ultim with that delightful forward milling. You don't have to mill those inside pockets, but it looks good.
Yeah. All kinds of different grinding operations.
We're starting without a bevel right here, and then once we stick it in the Seatman, we're coming out with that Scandi right there.
So this is a 5-axis grinding machine. So you not only have an axis that defines the edge angle, but you can also rotate the part, which it's going to be shortly. This is the part before the first grinding steps, and then we add like 3 bevels to it. So this takes a lot of time to dial in.
Been here 10 years?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I love the pride and ownership you take in what you do. It's fantastic, man. Tumbling is incredibly loud, and you can almost like feel it in your body. So basically you're stonewashing here to get it a stonewash finish.
These have been processed for 4 hours now,
4 hours.
and I will have to do another additional 2 hours from now on.
Look at these pictures, these old time pictures, and I think, holy smokes, like, these are kind of big shoes to fill. Do you feel the weight of that?
Yeah, we do. But it's a great opportunity to like be able to prove yourself and to prove that you are still in charge and you are able to fulfill the customer's needs even after 155 years.
Very cool. So wood shop in here. Bone handles being made. You said you've got a master carpenter. I love that you've taken all of these pieces and parts, like master carpenter, handles. It's like But it's this lovely dance of making something really, really cool.
Yeah.
This is the natural materials department, and there, another poster. This is probably like 2nd or 3rd edition. Is sitting here at Boker.
All the blades we are currently grinding downstairs, and they get pre-assembled. So they just have to slide this back, push the pivot through with the blade inside, and then tighten the pivot screw, and it's basically done. We are doing a lot of Damascus blades, so we're working with different suppliers. We're working a lot with Chad Nichols, with a German smith, and a lot with Damasteel as well.
Cool.
And in order to make the Damascus pattern visible, you have to etch the blade.
Donka.
We have a little bit of a display over here, just to show all kinds of different variations of Damascus steel that we're using right now. Right now, it's just like plain metal. You can't really tell it's Damascus steel. It starts to reveal its pattern.
I think one thing that we struggle to understand, if you're not in manufacturing, you think, oh, there's some machine that ties knots, or there's some machine that polishes this. The machine is right here.
Yeah.
And as I've walked through your shop, that's one thing that's really impressive to me, is it's like, there are humans that know how to do this with their hands and their brains.
Yes.
So even if you're using a mill, if you're using a grinder, somebody has to have it here and somebody has to have it here.
I started my career at Boker.
Really?
So
you started right
it
here?
all began here, yes. Yeah, because I used to work there many hours, just grinding and re-grinding blades.
Wow.
So that's basically how I started here. Yeah.
Cool.
So these are called basically translated grinding woods, because they are made out of wood and they are used to basically, you put the part on there and then you use this to Scotch-Brite and grind the blade.
How did I do? Is that scrap or is that Lenny can fix it?
I can fix it.
Okay. 6,000 products. Everything from Damascus that we just saw being made to stuff from all over the place. It's a remarkable catalog.
It is.
You've got your Zollingen, you've got your Arbolito, you've got your Boker Plus, Magnum.
Yeah.
But this is the brain, this is the heartbeat of the whole thing.
Exactly.
Wow, very, very cool. Lenny, this has been an amazing tour. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for letting us invade your space. My one last question for you is, what makes Boker special? What would you hope people would remember about what you guys do?
For me, it's the people, the product, and the legacy we have.
Very cool. 300 years of it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Whew, back from Germany. That was a fun trip. Wish I could have come, but it looked like you guys had a blast.
Did you see my Lederhosen?
Loved the Lederhosen. One of my favorite photos that we have of Ben is Ben in the Lederhosen.
In the Lederhosen.
Yep.
And we're back talking about handle materials. Now we're going to go into metals. So these kind of fall into a couple different categories.
Yep.
Mostly titanium, aluminum, and steel.
Yep.
I think maybe starting with the steel might be the best way to do this.
I think that's great.
Because a lot of your cheaper knives have steel handles. So this is the Lander 5. This is about a $30 knife. So you got a steel front on this thing and a steel frame lock on the back. Nice part about this is steel is relatively inexpensive, easy to work with, and you can crank out knives that are fairly inexpensive.
And just my feeling is that steel is a little bit less popular these days, maybe as people have started to perfect other materials like some of the plastics we'll get into later, or some of the G10s, and maybe the cost has come down on those. So less prevalent maybe these days, but still one of the most budget-friendly options to get into a pocket knife.
Yes. It's worth noting too, within the space of knives, like this is a steel underlay on the Lander 3. So most knives that have Micarta or G10 have a steel underlay. What we're saying is that the handle scale itself is steel.
Yep.
And it's structural. We talk about a structural and non-structural handle. Let me give you an example. This is a good example. This one does not have a full liner on it. So this front is G10, it is structural. This is steel, it is structural.
Yep. It's your liner, your scale, it's all of it in one piece.
Yep, exactly. So steel is kind of your starting point. And then after that, I would say we're going to titanium.
Titanium, okay. Where should we start? Bougie, maybe?
Yeah,
let's go Bougie.
Banter.
Okay, so this is the Bougie Banter, of course. What's lovely about titanium is you can anodize it.
You can.
So you can kind of pick and choose a color, and this one's anodized blue, of course, and I think even the hardware is titanium, and it's anodized little gold accents there, including the thumb stud. Another one that you tell me, can titanium be structural?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think this one has a liner.
It does.
Yep. But Titanium, another lightweight one. So you know, if you have a preference for a little bit lighter weight carry, titanium's really going to be good for you. One thing to kind of note though is like this one has a titanium pocket clip. Titanium is actually very rigid compared to steel.
It is.
It has to be thicker to deal with some of those pressures and stuff like that, so it tends to be a little bit stronger. So you can't just like snap that like you would a stainless steel.
The other interesting thing about titanium, when we talk about colors, there's a color spectrum that you can anodize titanium. So this is actually an exclusive that we did with our friends at Way of Knife, EDC Gear House. We did a little jazz knife. Brad Smith, don't sue us, we like you.
We love it.
Anyway, so this knife was anodized, looks like 2-3 different colors. So you can pick the spectrum of anodization colors. Whereas like with a G10, you can get a whole heap of colors. You can UV print on the side of them. But that anodization is a delight.
And the other cool thing, especially on this one, is it's been lasered too. So
Yes.
basically you anodize a color, you laser it off. You anodize another color, maybe the blue, you laser it off. And so you can do multiple colors on one knife. There's also different styles that you can do. There's like a sponge anodization that you can do. So you can really start to customize when you get into the titanium stuff.
Most of the folks that are modding pocket knives love titanium because it's a fun canvas.
Yep.
You talked about structural. This is a big idea design. I think this is called the Overlook.
Overlook.
And this is structural titanium.
Yep.
Through and through. Your frame lock is titanium.
Yep, even
your
onto the
handle
frame
is
lock.
titanium.
Yeah.
So.
Super cool. And then these days, people are starting to get into
This
3D
is a fun one.
printing. Yeah, so this is from our friend Randall at Chroma
Dude,
Scales.
is this your knife, Austin?
This, can you tell?
I love it.
I use it a
I
lot.
love it.
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely. It's
user.
one of my favorites. But this is a lattice 3D printed titanium. I have no clue how this process works.
I think it's a 3D printer head that pours down titanium.
Interesting. But if you feel it in hand, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's clearly metal. It's clearly titanium. It's structural. It's hard. You know, it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So.
There's a company in Europe whose name escapes me that is printing 3D printed handles for their fixed blades now.
Oh, cool.
They're beautiful. They're well done. We didn't bring this to market. We don't have plans to because it kind of came out a little bit bubblegummy.
Yeah.
In a way that we didn't feel like was passable.
I think the texture is a little bit challenging, and then also the price point is challenging. It would be very expensive to do this.
They were going to be like over like $100 to set of scales.
Well
right?
over $100. Yep.
Yeah.
So they're expensive to produce. The quality is still being dialed in, is maybe how I would say that.
But it's
So,
cool to see the limits of metal, right? Like 3D printing metal.
like my mind really can't comprehend
No.
it. It's very cool.
Super cool. Next up, we have aluminum. So tons and tons of knives are made out of aluminum. This is the O.C.T. Cool thing about aluminum is you can anodize it lots of colors. So you got a blue, green, black. My preference is always blue. I love it. But you can do tons and tons of different aluminum colors. And it's just it's a great material. Usually you're bead blasting the aluminum before you anodize it.
Right.
And how you bead blast it gives it texture. So this is a knife from Guardian Tactical. This is a knife made by Bestech. Both blue, but have very different handle textures underneath that anodization.
Yeah. And the way that it bonds, I don't know the specifics of the difference, but I know it's a kind of a different bond to titanium. It's like more like a surface coating almost when you anodize aluminum, and you can scratch it off very easily. And you'll only most likely be able to do solid colors. You can still do the laser engraving treatment, but you can't come back and then do another color anodization on top of that. So more of a single color process.
Have we talked about this knife?
Not much
Dude.
if we have.
Guardian Tactical, this is the GTX 025. I don't love OTFs as a rule. I love the people that make them, but I love this one.
It's a good
like
one.
So smooth and delightful.
The smoothness of that switch is really good.
It is.
Yeah, it's very
Andy,
cool.
well done. Thank
They
you
do
for
a
that
good
knife.
job. Absolutely.
Also in the aluminum category, most Bowie songs, not all, but many are made of aluminum. This is a Tsunami from Squid Industries. I'm not going to flip it because I like my fingers.
Cool.
But this is a single piece of stock aluminum there on both sides of it. One thing about aluminum is it's easy to machine. So a lot of folks like it. You'll see it on a ton of OTFs. Also can be structural. So it's fairly inexpensive, easy to machine, can be structural. So a lot of folks, most OTFs are aluminum. Many Bowie songs are aluminum. It's just a good material that people enjoy working with.
And very lightweight also.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sweet.
What else we got, Austin?
Should we get into, I don't know if these are considered precious metals anymore, but brass.
I'd call it precious.
Yeah, it's precious to us for sure. But yeah, brass is it's two materials, right? I believe it's copper and is it aluminum, steel? I forget, but it's a mix of that.
Correct us, Jamie.
Yeah, let us know.
Jamie says no.
Okay. Fair enough.
Jamie can't correct us. We'll let Jeff
enough.
correct us.
Jeff, save me, Jeff. I'm drowning here.
In the edit.
But yes, this is obviously the PPL. It's got the brass, heavy. These things are heavy. Is the first
Brass
thing that comes
is
to
an
mind.
incredibly heavy material.
Yep, heavy and a little bit softer.
Yep.
So if you were to like say drop this on the side, you'd probably leave a nice little mark in it because it's more likely to deform.
Do you personally like brass?
I like the color of brass. I do not like the weight.
The
of
weight
brass.
gets me.
And it's always been between brass and copper. Like do you guys remember when fidget spinners came on the scene and everyone was making fidget spinners and it seemed like they were brass and copper? I'm a copper guy. I like the green when
So
the team is.
here's a copper. And this one was interesting. This is a copper banter we did with House of Blades a few years ago. And it was so heavy that nobody wanted to buy it. So they actually pulled the scales off, went on the inside, and milled them out.
I think that's so cool.
I do too.
Yeah.
And it reduced the weight by, I don't know, a couple ounces. But they're just heavy metals.
Yeah.
And it's hard to use them in knives because people are like, oh, it's too heavy. I agree.
I'm gonna make a claim. I think it's tin. I think it's copper and tin.
That was what I thought initially, but I could be wrong.
Jeff,
Fix
me.
it. This one's interesting. So this is the Swanky Sendy. It's coming out soon. This one, you've got titanium, brass, micarta. So this is where handle materials start to get really fun and interesting and all over the map. In fact, will you hand me that Wells knife right there? Same sort of thing going on here where you can start to combine things. You got micarta, brass, and wood on this one. This is where you start heading into more of the custom territory on your handles, because each one of these materials wants to be its own material. So smashing them together like this can lead to problems, whether it's flexing on the wood or flexing on the micarta, or like the brass doesn't want to stay in place or doesn't want to join with the micarta well. It's like, so I think there's a level of expertise when you start to combine materials that you have to be good at.
And if you look really closely, you can see that titanium is the structure behind the micarta and behind your little brass pieces there as well. So that helps with some of that.
I wish we had time to take this one apart because the brass pieces, like this is connected to that. So it's a single piece that goes through. There's like some really fun engineering on the inside of this.
Oh, that's really cool.
That makes it really interesting. So
let's talk magnesium.
Ooh, this is a newer material for knife handles, I think.
Yeah,
I've seen it a couple times, but not very often.
Our friends over at Work Sharp, of course, this is the RMX. This is the small version. But yeah, this is a single piece magnesium. I don't know how it's made. I'm guessing maybe cast or something like that. Right? Yeah, but yeah, like you said, a very new material to me. I can't think of another one on the market right now. I'm sure there are, but
so it's pretty soft from what I've seen.
It is.
So they Cerakote this. Cerakote is a type of coating, almost like a paint that doesn't come off. But Cerakote is dependent, the staying factor on it is dependent on the hardness of the material beneath it. So this will tend to chip just a little bit because of the softness of the magnesium underneath.
Yeah.
So each one of these has pros and cons.
Yeah.
This one is a super cool material that they can be precise with, but it has a tendency to be softer.
And I think that's the fun, right? Is like if you don't love how heavy something is, or if you don't love how soft something is, there's probably something awesome out there for you.
Yes.
Is it zinc handles? I don't know, but this knife has zinc handles. This is a Gerber 39. I remember purchasing this at Blade HQ. It was one of the first ones that I bought when I was there. I had to go back and make sure because I remembered it being zinc, but I had to go reference it. They don't make these anymore, so it was hard to track down, but it is a zinc handle.
That's cool.
I don't know what zinc is. I obviously it's a metal, but like past that, I don't know much about zinc, but that's a fun one. It's heavy is one call out there.
Heavy.
It is a hefty piece, so.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it feels quality in that sense, but.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what your favorite metal is. We're gonna come back to polymers and natural materials right after we go to the Moon Crew moment.
All right, let's jump into the Moon Crew. This first one today is from Aaron Campbell, and he's showing off his sweet little lanyard on his tiny Lander 6. Super fun.
He used Lander 4 hardware. Do you see that?
Lander 4 hardware, yeah.
So we ship an extra set of hardware in the Lander 4 knife, and he took that and turned it into a lanyard bead.
Yeah, so he took your screws from the body and turned that into a bead, which looks pretty cool. It almost looks like a chess piece. Is that I forget, a rook maybe? But
like a castle.
like a castle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Are castles rooks? Castles are rooks.
I'm exposing myself this episode.
I know.
Next up, we have.
Sorry, can we comment on chess for just a minute?
Let's
Not
do
knowing
it.
the names of the parts. My kids watch Bluey.
Yeah.
I love it. There's an episode called Chest,
Okay.
and they mispronounce the entire game. They call it chest.
Okay.
And then they call the pawns prawns. And so at my house, we call them prawns.
Prawns. I actually love that.
Yeah, highly enjoyable.
I think that's super fun. Next up here we have Tadakimi, our old friend. He made himself some 3D printed Lego compatible scales. Don't tell Lego he did that. But he has started attaching some of the little I remember them as like sirens or lights, but the little like colored see-through single dots in there, which is super fun. So
I saw Kaiser marketing a Lego knife this week as well.
I've seen that as well. And as if you guys are super familiar, we have we carry not Lego but tiny brick 3D printed from Chroma scales. We have some of those scales for our landers as well.
Did you know I've gotten one cease and desist in my life?
Oh, who was it?
From Lego.
Dang. Dang.
So when I was at Blade HQ, we did this Tim Kennedy Lego figurine video, and we used the name Lego in the marketing, and that's where you get in trouble. Because if you use Lego, the crawlers will find you, and then the lawyers will find you. So we got a C&D, and I wish I would have saved it because we should have framed it.
That should be on the wall.
We should have framed it with the figurine.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
That's the only one I've ever gotten.
Hey, good on you.
But we've definitely tried to get others.
We try to and we try not to at the same time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, absolutely. Finally here we've got Rob Becker. He's celebrating Micarta Monday with what he's calling a fossil hunter. He's got the are those Barnescraft, I believe. It's a Lander 2. He's got his Barnescraft milled scales on there, micarta, and then he's got some sort of very aggressive backspacer on that bad boy.
The Dino backspacer.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Super fun. And then a cool engraving to match as well.
I actually really love it. It's fascinating. Is that like the head of the dinosaur on the laser engraving?
Yeah, I wonder if that's what he's going for, is like it's a puppet almost.
That's cool.
Yeah, giving it the whole treatment. I'd love to see what his clip is. Maybe he could like get his clip engraved as the tail that's sweeping around or something like that. That would be really fun.
Dinosaurs are cool.
So
we have like a lot of dinosaur history here in Utah. You can go to like tar pits and they have like these Allosauruses everywhere. It's so cool.
Fascinating stuff.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Next up, we got Mailbox. A couple things came in. First of all, this shirt from Chris sorry Chris, I gotta remember your username, Sippin' Sharp.
Hey.
There it is.
Knife nerd. Let's go.
Thank you, Chris. That's super fun. I didn't wear it on camera today because it's freezing. It's October 1st today, and it got cold.
Got my hoodie on.
Which, by the way, have we ever talked about the hoodies?
I don't know if we have. Should we talk about
for
it?
Just a quick second.
Yeah, so
Thank
this
you for
is
the shirt, Chris.
the Knafs Diamond logo hoodie. This is a screen printed hoodie. It's very comfortable, I will say. It's got, front pocket in there, and it's perfect for this time of year.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty soft. I like the softness of this hoodie. It's like a lounging hoodie,
Yep.
in my opinion.
Yep.
So
Very relaxing.
I enjoy that one. Other things that came in, we have the Boker Pack Light right over here. This was from my trip to Germany. My friend Lenny hooked me up with this Burnley designed the Pack Light. And honestly, it was cool, Austin, because going through their shop, and we probably saw this in the shop tour, this thing was everywhere.
Cool.
I'd wager to guess that there were 500-600 of these moving through the shop while we were there.
That's amazing.
On the getting milled, edge milled, ground, everything. It was just really cool to see. And since it's from two friends, from the Boker team and from Burnley, I was like, I need that. Their cash register wasn't working. I was ready to pay, my money was out, and they said, it's yours.
That's very kind of them.
That was very kind of them. So Lenny, thank you for that, and thank you for the entire tour of Solingen. What a cool town.
Very cool.
If you get the chance, Austin, it's so cool.
Talk about knife history.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, I mean, like wandering around, you're like, dang, this is older than everything in Utah.
Yeah, for real, except the dinosaurs.
Except the dinosaurs. We do have the dinosaurs. And we have that Utah Jazz knife. Don't sue us right.
All right, anything else in the mail today?
I think that's all we got in the mail this week.
Right on.
And we are on to the comments section. What do we got, Austin?
Go. Yeah, this is from TW Knives. He says, you forgot to add the Mentos with the Coke. Next Kickstarter, Ben pee in a bottle. Stretch goal added asparagus. Oh my gosh.
No.
That's got to be illegal. We can't sell that. We
No,
can't
you
sell that
cannot.
body fluid.
This is in reference to our rust removal episode.
Yeah.
What an episode.
And Fitz let me know this morning that he posted the clip of that. We're filming this way advanced, so you've already seen it, but he said it's doing great on social media, so.
People love a little bit of urine in their content.
They sure do. They need it, apparently.
Next up, we got Cynical MD talking about my cat. Your house now belongs to Q. Little update on Q.
My.
Q takes hiatuses. I'm convinced that Q the cat, who lives at my house, has 2 families.
Mm-hmm.
He stays with us for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then he disappears to wherever he goes, and then he usually comes back.
That sounds like cat behavior.
The last time he disappeared, I'm like, guys, he's gone. And literally the next day, I kid you not, he showed up.
Wishful thinking, Ben.
Maybe.
Gone
yes,
to another happy
yes,
family.
He's gone to another
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
family.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I am convinced that he has another family that's
Yeah.
like, well, Q's gone again. But they probably call him like, I don't know.
Jerry, I don't know.
Jerry.
Yeah,
They're like,
something.
Jerry's gone.
Yeah.
And then he's over to our house being like, Q's here, you know. So I don't know.
Too funny. Next up, Lyndon Marquise maybe. Dudes, pitcher plant is like a pitcher of water, except the pitcher is full of digestive juices to digest insects. Also, just heard my name on the O.C.T. Fixie question. Whoop whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Now you get to hear your name twice.
That's right. Welcome.
From our friend Dom at Max Level EDC. Poor Austin, he seems so uncomfortable at the end.
It was sprung on me.
Yeah.
But you know, life goes on.
Life goes on.
Yep.
It's worth noting too, this isn't in the comments section, but somebody said, Ben, your pee is very yellow, you're dehydrated. I learned something about urine in a bottle. It tends to get darker in 24 hours.
I can see that.
So I think I was hydrated that day, but if you left it in the bottle for 24 hours, not so much.
Thanks for the shout out, Dom, though. Appreciate you, man. Lance Watson, the fixed blade looks so much better as a clip point. Is that the Lander 4, I would guess?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think people love what they love. Some people love a sheep's foot. Some people love a clip point, right?
Yep.
So our Lander 4 comes in a clip point pattern. This is a 3, but some people just love different shapes.
Yeah.
You love what you love.
I think if you're more into the natural look, kind of, especially with the brass and stuff like that, clip points for you.
This is coming from Khaki Campbell 6640. This is a fun and educational episode. Go science, sort of laugh out loud. My take on Q as a dog person. If you have to change a litter box, it counts as an inside cat.
I think that's fair.
We have to change a litter box.
Yeah, it's at least.
I think he's an inside cat.
It's 50-50 at least.
But also when he disappears, he sure comes back looking like an outside cat.
Does he?
He does.
Fine.
He does. All right, Austin, let's finish this episode going up on polymer.
Finishing strong. Should we start with the bug out?
Yep.
Let's do it. So this is a bug out. What is this exact type of plastic? Do we know?
Okay, so this is where plastics get really hard for me because there are all sorts of different plastics. There's fiberglass reinforced nylon,
FRN,
GFN.
Yeah.
I do not know exactly, but basically, I think we hear plastic and we immediately think cheap. But the reality is, like, plastic and cheap, somewhere along the line of like bad McDonald's toys, that's where we get that. But there are polymers in all sorts of things. Your bumper on your car is a polymer.
They're all plastic these days.
Granted, behind it, there's styrofoam and stuff. But polymers can actually be quite strong. However, on the bug out, people complain about the flexi scales.
Yeah.
Right here, where those flex together. But I think that's part of what it is.
Yeah, I would
more than
call this
anything.
knife like, it's probably not even, it's too aggressive of a label, but like semi-structural would be the handle, because if you have ever taken one of these apart, you'll see that like the liner is just a little pin that only goes to that hole right there. And everything else below it is just the plastic handle. So
some people complain about that, but polymers, they're expensive up front, they're inexpensive on the back end. So when we make our Lander 6 right here, this is an actually fairly inexpensive knife to produce. However, the mold was one of the most expensive things I've ever purchased. So the goal is to use that over and over and over. So Lander 6 has this polymer handle because it's lightweight, and the cost per unit is actually quite low if you take the mold fee out. So when you can keep that mold fee lower, that's when, and when you make more units, that's when you get your value out of it. But a lot of folks like these because they are lightweight for a keychain.
And then onto one of my other personal carries. This is a PETG 3D printed handle, or scale, I should say. So translucent PETG. PET is like what is made, water bottles are made from and stuff like that. So think of like a clear kind of, not like crunchy, but kind of a harder plastic. And yeah, just an interesting one. We were thinking about doing some other trademarked stuff that I won't talk about, but yeah, this was kind of a sample for that. So yeah, super fun, vibrant. You can see the liners through it, which is also very fun. And yeah, another type of plastic.
Next one on the list is a squiddy trainer. Hey,
Yeah,
look at that.
you
Look at
will
that.
flip that
I will
one.
flip this all
You
day.
will flip that one.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm actually not very good at flipping full stop, but this one's PVC.
Yeah,
like a PVC pipe.
I think it's technically CPVC. I don't know what the difference is. But yeah, I think PVC pipe and another Squid Industries design. So imagine that it comes in a blank basically, and I think they mill these out as well.
Yeah.
So super fun. I don't know if like regular, I tried to look up, it looks like maybe some like box cutters have PVC handles on them, but I'm not sure that it's ubiquitous in the knife industry. Yeah.
That's a cool one.
Yep.
Oh.
Ooh.
I don't know if this has been announced yet.
Well,
It's
then
happening.
you should take that then.
This is Ultem. Ultem is a clear polymer used a lot in the aircraft industry, is my understanding, because it's fireproof.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So this is the Slippy Sendy. I don't know if it's been announced or not yet, but we're announcing it now.
This is very exciting.
So we took that same pattern. That's, again, cool thing you can do with Ultem is put patterns on it.
Yep.
So you can do that on G10, you can do it on Ultem.
And for the commenter earlier asking for a Ben P on Kickstarter, he's got it right there in the Slippy Sendy.
That's true. Maybe we ship it out with like an extra vial.
Just liquid Ultem.
A lot of people don't like Ultem because it does look like urine.
But I have seen recently that there have been other companies releasing Ultem in different colors. I don't know if Ultem has to be yellow, but typically, as we've seen it, it has always been kind of this like ambery color.
Amber, that's
Yeah.
a better name for it.
Yeah.
Amber.
Yep.
I like it. Next up, you got a Demco here.
Demco. I don't know anything about this guy.
I forget what this is. This is a drive-on mold, an over mold.
Right.
Drive-on. They mold it and then they slam it on there and they stick a thing on there to keep it in place. This is a little bit more. I think it's a combination of letters. It's PTG, I think.
Okay.
May have to correct me there, but basically it's grippier. It's more squashy than firm.
It's got a softness to it.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's got some bounce to it a little bit, so it'll flex back on you. It feels like closer to a rubber, I would say. which is
Again,
fun.
molded.
Yep. And then looks like it's milled as well.
I'd say that's molded.
That's
still.
molded, okay.
Yeah, they're not gonna mill that stuff. That's all molded.
Interesting. Super cool.
So,
That's a fun one.
And that's one of the benefits is you mold it and then you're done. You don't have to mill it,
Yeah.
and you can just rock and roll. This one is milled, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you are sticking that on a machine and removing material, but most of this is just injection molded and then you're done.
Yep.
And that's why it's cheaper, but it's more expensive on the front end. It is astronomically more expensive on the front end to do a polymer handle. This one's interesting, and Jamie, remind me what the Lexon. It's an acrylic. This one is milled, similar to Ultem, and they stuck an underlay under this one. I think what they did here is they lasered that, stuck the acrylic on top of it for this 12th anniversary drop bear.
Yep. Haven't taken it apart, but pretty confident that's what's going on.
I think that's what they've done.
Yep.
So, Atlanta 2025.
Yeah. Interesting note there. You can see like some of the lubricant coming through, like it's showing in your, not coming through, but you can see the wetness basically.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not into seeing all of the inner workings of your knife, then maybe clear Lexan is not for you.
Might not be your style.
Yep.
What else have we got here, Austin?
This is a buck knife. I don't know what this handle material is. Obviously a polymer of some sort, but this is one of my favorite. This is a Jamie knife right here, and it's got a great action to it. And yeah, I just like it in general, but that's another example of your polymer there. This is obviously 2-piece or 3-piece. I can't tell if that's a plastic. It looks like it, your little red back spacer there. So it's a 3-piece plastic design there. And yeah, very structural, very hard, very cool.
Okay, last on the list, we have natural materials. So we've got a few of these. Most of them are wood. So we got, usually you want your wood to be stabilized when it comes to handle materials.
Yeah. Does that mean dehydrated mostly?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Sometimes it's dehydrated the way they dehydrate it matters. Other times they will actually inject resin into it to be a stabilized wood.
Cool.
This one does not look like it has any resin in it, but
Yeah.
the goal is to keep it from moving on you. So one of the challenges with wood and micarta is they absorb moisture. So for instance, if you're making a knife in China where it is hot and humid,
Yeah.
and then you bring it to Utah, sometimes it will compress on itself. It will shrink because of the humidity differences. So a lot of times you'll see silica gel packets in knives. A lot of our knives have those in there, especially when it's micarta, because you're coming from South China where it is so hot and so humid, and you're coming to Utah where it is just hot. So that's a stabilized wood on this one.
Yeah, I think it's a rosewood probably.
Yeah.
Yep. GEC traditional.
Yep.
Another Blade HQ one.
Yep.
And then we got a burlwood here, which I think is super cool. This is a ProTech. I'm sure it's a godson. Burlwood is like the knots of the wood, right? That's essentially what it is. And I think it's typically found like right near the base of the tree. But yeah, that's why you get kind of this like marbly pattern to it, is because it doesn't have your kind of structure of that tree trunk, the verticalness of that. So
Worth noting on all of the wood stuff, none of it is structural. It all has a liner beneath it. If we look at a Buck 110 over here, you got brass combined with this. So your brass is your structure, and then right here you've got your, I think this is an ironwood if I remember right.
Okay.
Correct me in the comments.
that does sound right.
But nice fit and finish on these. They've made these layers fit really well, but you'll notice that wood is not structural by design. The pins go through it, but the brass is what's holding this thing together.
Yep. Should we give them another exclusive look at some other
You know,
products?
we started this episode and we're like, should we throw this in? I was like, sure, let's do it. Baby Banter 2 with a gooey borsha handle. So, fun little fun fact. I'm going to share this because we're late in the episode. They actually take furniture scraps and turn them into knife handles with all the weavy and savvy stuff.
I personally love that. I love the repurposing of it.
I think it's awesome.
Like, yeah, there's, in my opinion, nothing wrong with that. You still get a cool looking knife. This one will have that kind of classic mill texture on it. At least this example does. So like you see in the aluminum one or the micarta one. And yeah, just a fun material.
I love the fact that you're upcycling too.
Yeah.
I get a kick out of that. I don't think that diminishes the product at all.
No.
I actually think it adds to it in a way that's cool, you know? And maybe that's part of what I love about micarta and wood products. There's story that starts to get baked into them immediately, right? Like when we talk about, if you hand me one of these guys bone, like a jig bone handle, like this has an animal's story just baked right into it.
Sure.
And that to me is like, everyone's going to be unique. It's going to be different. In fact, this gooey borsha wood, each one of these is unique.
Yeah.
None of them look the same. The colors vary, the grains vary. They're just super cool. Yeah. So I think you get the same thing happening on these natural material handles.
Yep.
So.
Right on. Anything else?
Whoa. We just went through a lot.
We hit them all.
Sheesh. I don't know that we hit every single knife on the table.
I think we maybe missed this little guy, another bone, traditional there.
Yep, little jig bone.
Yep, and then we've got some example wood. This is apparently ambrosia maple, which is
Ambrosia maple.
very beautiful.
Oh, this is a good example of, I think this is stabilized with a resin that is in there that is a greenish
It
resin.
definitely feels like it's got more to it. Yeah, that's interesting.
Someday I want to get one of these machines because you stick them inside of this resin sort of thing, and then you like suck all the air out of it, and it compresses it.
Interesting.
I've only seen them on YouTube, and I'm like, I need one of those.
One day.
But then I'm like, what would I do with that?
I know where we could put it though. I've got a spot.
Tranquility Base.
I've heard.
Let's go.
Yes.
Fantastic. I think the only thing left on our list today is Fresh Prince, Austin.
Let's do it. So, yep, this is a little tray holder, I believe designed by Matt Wheelwright to transport our little Lulus as we're going through the process. So these ones have been Cerakoted, and it's got spacing there so that you can space them out. And then basically the plan is that we can now stack these on something like, I don't know, a baking sheet or something like that, so that as we're transporting them around the shop or as we're packing them into boxes, they're not rubbing on each other, hurting the coating, hurting the finish, anything like that. And internal design from the mats.
We went to a diamond factory a few months ago, and synthetic diamonds is what they make. The amount of 3D printed jankiness in their shop was remarkable to me.
It was cool.
I And they're like a publicly traded business, I believe, or
Yeah.
owned by a publicly traded business.
Yeah.
I think the thing about 3D printing is it's not janky if it works.
Right. Yeah. Even my recent trip to Worksharp, they were like 3D printing vacuum nozzles for their sharpening station for their air removal and stuff like that. So super cool. And I totally agree. If it works, it ain't janky.
What a cool moment. I was listening to the Edge and Flow podcast. Shout out to Lucas and TJ. They were talking about how this moment is so cool because your prototyping can happen fast. It's easy to set up a website. Like the entire creation process has been democratized. And that to me, what a moment to be alive.
If you want it, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, if you like this show, definitely subscribe and like, and let us know if you have any questions down in the comments. We do read the comments. It's surprising how many of those comments we read. Especially if they're on the first day. We read them all.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But we appreciate y'all watching. We'll have another video coming out for you soon.
See you then.